Hey, welcome to the Sharpe Way show. I'm so happy that you guys are joining me this evening. It is 7 p.m. on the East Coast, so here I am, yapping away, doing what I seem to always do. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you tell others about it. So do me a favor, like, comment, share. It does matter. Please just do that. Let people know that I'm on. Share, let people know what's going on. Comment so that I get those algorithms going. Click your like or your hate or whatever you want to click. Click something, a love, a share or something so that people know, hey, I'm out here doing what I have to do. Well, some of you may remember last week I had a conversation with Vaush, who is a Libertarian Socialist podcaster, gamer, YouTuber, and he was very civil, very gracious. I was happy I had the conversation. Most of his supporters, I'll call them supporters, I'm assuming they're his supporters, people who are commenting, most of them were also very good, open to hearing conversations back and forth. Awesome. Loved it. We'll do it again. It was great. Very happy that it happened. But I looked through the comments later. In fact, I didn't. Some of you did, and you told me about the comments. So I went through and I looked at a couple of them. And I thought, oh, you know what? There is a level of either misunderstanding or maybe even naivete or something, or even just anger that I thought I should tackle head on, if that makes any sense. So I wanted to just blatantly just go through some of the comments. There's like 1,000 of them or something. I'm not going to get all of them, but I wanted to go through and address these things. These are probably people who think that socialism is the only answer. The libertarianism is always wrong. There are many of them who thought that. Some weren't. This is not a broad brush painting. I'm trying to deal with specific people who specifically were that way. And I think if we had a conversation, it would change how they feel. It would change. It might change even how you talk to people who are socialists, because I really believe in my heart that most Americans who are socialists are not because they actually think socialism is necessarily the best, my opinion. And I have no data on this, so take it for whatever you want. But I think most of them they want things to work. And they think that's the best way of making it work. So I'm going to grab I'll show you where I'm taking it from. I'm taking it literally directly from his YouTube page, Vaush's YouTube page. This is it. A nice, interesting topic. He starts with, I would rather kill myself than live in your world. Debating Libertarian Larry Sharpe. You know, not biased, not clickbaity at all. No, all good. I'm happy. I do some clickbaity stuff sometimes too. It's all good. So I'm going to go right down the list. And the first comment right there is, his idea ultimately boils down to tricking corporations into building better infrastructure, which is a good idea if corporations are stupid, but they aren't. The problem with this idea that you have to trick corporations, no, that's what he's trying to do. That's what most of the socialists are trying to do. They're trying to just punish the companies and think they'll just take it. If the companies are smart, as he says, why would they ever allow you to socialize them? Why would they ever allow you to nationalize them? They wouldn't if they're as smart as you say they are. So what I'm trying to do is actually the same thing that many people want. Most people want corporations to pay more. I agree. I want them to pay more too. But I come at this from a different way. I can try to order them to do so with mandates and taxes, but all these tax laws will be written by guess who? Corporate lobbyists. That's how the real world works. Corporate lobbyists write the tax code. So they always write in loopholes. And you can go, well, we won't do that. How? Not playing God hand with magic? Are you a corporate lobbyist? Would they let you write the law? No. Even if Bernie were president, he doesn't write the laws. The laws will be written by corporate lobbyists. Does that mean there's virtually no chance of making, a high tax rate happen on corporations? Yeah, basically, almost no chance. If you've looked for the past 50 years, you can see it hasn't worked for over 50 years. And even most other countries who have higher tax on corporations, most of them have backed off on them. In fact, my governor, New York, Governor Cuomo, said yesterday in his press conference, yeah, we can't do an estate tax. We can't do, another type of tax. He was talking about capital gains tax because we'll lose more money than we'll make. Why would you lose more money than you'd make? because they'll scam and not pay or leave your state. Yeah, that's how that works. So it isn't as easy as one might think. So I'm not trying in any way, shape, or form to trick them. I'm doing what an entrepreneur does, which is if I want you to spend more money, I have to give you value so you want to spend your money. There's no tricking in this case. It's getting a corporation to see the value in putting naming rights on the bridge and then paying for it. It's actually not deceptive at all. It's wide open. So I wanted to make sure that was clear. And Saint Beef the Prophet, I do love these names, says they're stupid in short-term versus long-term investments because the corporate structure doesn't encourage executives to focus on long-term growth. Instead, it focuses them on short-term investments that they bank on. That's not necessarily true. That's an image that you've put together. Now, when it comes to investors, absolutely. Speculators, 100%. Are you telling me Jeff Bezos was thinking from quarter to quarter? Are you telling me that Bill Gates was thinking quarter to quarter? Of course he wasn't. And I'm not talking about small corporations. We're talking about billions of dollars. So some guy who's like, I'm going to make $1 million next week. That guy's not in this game. That's not in this game. Amazon's marketing budget last year was $10 billion. Just the marketing budget. So yeah, they're already spending the money. So give it to us and we'll give you something of value. I know, crazy value for value transaction. Insane, but yes, that's what we're talking about. So I don't think that's true at all. I'm not sure why he thinks that. Then G. Willis says he's trying to come up with funding hacks instead of actually, funding things. The naivete in that statement is insane. New York State, and many states are as bad as we are. Well, no, are bad, but not as bad as we are, has a $212 billion budget. We're funding all types of things and nothing gets built. Funding is amazing. I love that. Let's fund it. Let's just raise taxes or borrow money. It doesn't get to where it's supposed to go. That's why with a corporation, the evil corporations, if you get them to get a contract and then front load the cash, which is what I talked about already, the money has to go where it's supposed to go because they're writing the checks to them. It doesn't have to touch government hands necessarily. And if it does go to government, then it's government just gets it done. But if you start raising taxes, how many times have we raised taxes and then said, oh, we're doing taxes so that we can build this or do that? And taxes never go away. And the thing we wanted to fund doesn't get funded. New York State funds $28,000 per kid funding. It's getting funded. And guess what? It still sucks. Now, the thing that you have to understand is you think so many people who are socialists believe that if the money goes to the government, that's how it gets spent well, because corporations are just greedy, right? So they'll just waste the money on, I don't know, salaries. I'm not sure, whatever they're going to waste money on. They're going to waste the money, but the government will be efficient. Yet never. The great things that we've done in the past as government, we haven't done anything great, 50 years? Am I wrong? Maybe. Is it a little bit? I mean, except bombing people and such. We're pretty good at that. But even that is totally wasteful. We bomb people effectively, but not efficiently. We're not even efficient at bombing. So we're not good at any of that. I don't know how much funding we need. I'll just give you more money. And this is a common thing. It's just fun. How do you just fund something? By earmarking money to it? We do that every single year and things don't get done. I guess G. Willis thinks when he becomes a senator, he'll change the world. He won't. He won't become a senator. But even if he does, he won't change the world. Willis says corporations will build better infrastructure, implying they won't build roads exclusively for themselves and have every other road be pothole ridden, toll road. That's what Lilith actually thinks. How do corporations build roads for themselves when we own the roads? I was very specific on this. The state or the city still owns the roads. They can't just build roads for themselves. And what would roads for themselves be? A road to do what? Most of the big businesses require infrastructure, but IP infrastructure. The rest is just getting people and stuff to their facilities. Okay, people have to get around. I don't understand what that even means. That's just, that statement says, I hate corporations. I get it. You hate corporations. I don't like them either. I don't either. But why would you think to just let everything be toll roads? You know who's actually fixing roads now? Domino's Pizza. Are they only fixing their roads? No, they're fixing potholes. They're making roads better than the city and the local municipality. Yeah, better. It's already happening now. This isn't something I'm making up. This is happening right now. These guys don't know that. So Domino's Pizza fixes potholes, puts their Domino's Pizza thing on it, their symbol. I hate that. It looks terrible. So how about instead we make it official? We let them have sponsor a road. Sponsor a road. Oh my God, the world's going to end. We already do it when it comes to cleaning up, right? We have cleaning up this road is cleaning up this road is sponsored by XYZ, Adopt a Highway, so-and-so company. Why can't we have Adopt a Highway for repair? Why is that so crazy? To them, they think it's crazy. But then there'll be a Domino's Pizza sign someplace on the road. Yes. And you can either have a Domino's Pizza sign on the road or have a shitty road that destroys your cars. Which one do you want? That's the difference. But there's something else, though, here. Well, Larry, they'll just, pave the rich roads. So only rich people order Domino's Pizza? I mean, maybe that's true. I don't know who their client base is, but I would assume that lots of people, rich and not so rich and middle class, order Domino's Pizza, I assume. So they have to face kind of all the roads. But guess what you could also do with a company that you can't do with government? Just make a contract. If you want the major roads, you have to take the side roads too. And if you screw it up, we give it to somebody else. Well, Larry, who's going to pay for that? They're doing it now for free because they see the value in the marketing. So why wouldn't they do it if we gave them a little bit of money? Or nothing. Just said, you get it. No, you pay us. You pay us for the right to do it. Even better. They would still do it. Larry, how do you know they would do it? Because they pay $20 million a year to have their name on a stadium that's used on the weekends. That's how I know. It's already being done. Instead, we're stopping it instead of encouraging it. But Larry, what about the poor neighborhoods where no one buys Domino's Pizza or, areas that are, out in the woods or whatever the case may be? I'm not firing the people who fill the potholes. So the city or municipality still has people who fill potholes. Great. Then those that are not serviced get better service. Oh my God, a situation where everyone gets better service and we pay less money. What? Insane, isn't it? That's what I'm actually talking about. And that's something they just can't understand. It's unheard of for them. No, only government can do it. And it's the wrong answer, right? It's really the wrong answer. It's not about just hoping. And it's not about giving government more money or hoping charity will take care of it. It's about contracting with corporations, giving them something that they actually want and that they'll want to pay for it. And then they'll pay for it without having to worry about taxation. Because when you make the tax code more complex, the little guy always pays. That's how that works. So I just thought that was a pretty interesting point. Then he comes back with, he basically says the solution to local government having issues funding public infrastructure is to ignore the root problem and privatize it to a degree. First off, again, no privatizing. I didn't say that. Never said that. They make that up because they decided I'm a bad guy and privatization is evil. So that's it. What root problem? That government's bad? That government fails? I'm not ignoring it all. I'm actually attacking the actual problem. I'm pulling government out of the equation. So yeah, I'm actually dealing with it specifically. And he says, without understanding that fundamentally these are bad ideas because they're not economically viable to corporations. So they won't be on the same page. Why pay millions of dollars for bridge maintenance just to get very little ad reach? He said very little ad reach. I specifically spoke about New York City, and I said this works great for New York City. 16 million person metro area. That's bad ad reach. 16 million person metro area. Still not done. Mentioned every single day, multiple times per day on every radio and TV station during traffic reports. Yeah, very little ad reach. The amount of naivete is really high. Very little ad reach. But more importantly, think of all the media that's produced in New York City. Skylines all the time. Everything from a postcard to a movie to a short video. And now your name is in that product placement. You get product placement in videos, in movies and media. The people are crossing the bridge. Over 1 million people cross the bridges in New York City every day. Every day. That's tiny ad reach. Wow. Talk about naive. Now, could that not work in other cities who aren't as large as New York? Maybe not. And that's why I was specifically talking about New York City. That might have to be a multi-bridge deal. You might have to have multiple bridges or tunnels or train stations or something like that to make it worth it. It might. Absolutely. 100%. But Larry, how are you going to get $100 million? Again, they pay $20 million already for a stadium that's used on the weekends. The problem with those, by the way, those models, why I don't like those other models, is they're hybrid ownership models. So it's kind of owned by the municipality, but kind of owned by the team, but kind of owned by the people who put their name on it. And then it's a hybrid mixed model. And who knows? That's a bad idea. That model is a terrible idea. The right model is very simple. The city and municipality owns the infrastructure, period. They own it. And you make a very simple leasing, naming rights lease with it, the money front loaded. For example, it's $100 million a year for 10 years, right? So that's $1 billion over 10 years. Oh my God, who would pay $1 billion over 10 years? They're already doing it. That's my point. They're dropping 10 billion, 5 billion, 8 billion every single year. I'm asking only 1 billion over 10 years. So you front load it. 550 million up front, 50 million per year moving on. Well, Larry, the Bengals will never take it. They already were speaking to me about it. Yeah, I had sit downs about it. I wouldn't have come up with the plan if it wasn't viable. I wouldn't have come up with the plan if I didn't have any interest. There was already interest in it. People were already talking about it. So yeah, the idea that corporations never do this just shows you don't know anything about corporations. You're embarrassing yourself by saying something like that. Of course they're interested. Of course they would. You're front loaded with a contract. Why do you front load it? Because in case they renege on the contract, you get your bigger chunk, your half, a little more than half up front. If somehow they renege, if they don't do it, if they go out of business, and those things happen, yours is front loaded. You wouldn't take a hit until like year 7 or year 8 like that. You might take a hit back then if it goes to year 7 or year 8. But by then you're renegotiating your next contract anyway. So they're either going to go another 10 or someone else wants it. Now you can negotiate it. That's kind of how business works. So this is not a bad idea at all. It actually would work very well. Daniel says, I think that's a good idea. It's just that his numbers are far off. That's incorrect, Daniel. I like you. I'm glad that you like that. But you can probably get millions in revenue, but I doubt they go to shell out hundreds of millions. Again, football stadium, $20 million a year. So yeah, already being done. So then Saint Beef the Prophet, he basically says solution to local government. Oh, dealt with that already. Sorry about that. Let's see if I can grab a couple more. Daniel gets it though. Daniel says, capitalist, or rather free enterprise, has been at the forefront of capital expansion in every country that has managed to do so effectively, from India to Vietnam to China and Singapore. Yeah, it's not a bad idea at all. It's simply not a bad idea. It can work and should work. So Gandhi Gun, these are funny names. I love the names. Libertarian logic, holding elected officials accountable is impossible. Holding the officials accountable to holding corporate sponsorship accountable, guaranteed. I guess what he's saying is we can hold we have a better chance of. He thinks that it's funny that we actually have a better chance of holding corporate sponsors accountable. We do. They have a contract. So we do. Where's your contract with your governor? Where's your contract with your senator? Where's your contract with your city councilman? There's no contract. You vote and then you hope. That's how that works. You vote and you hope. If they screw you over, you're just screwed. That's it. And then once they're in, because of gerrymandering, they just stay in. The system doesn't work. Haven't you noticed? That's why you're mad and you want socialism, because our voting system doesn't work. Yeah. But what happens with an actual company? You know what? They might get fired. That kind of stuff happens. Don't get me wrong. If you are powerful, of course, anyone who's powerful has more of a chance of surviving. Of course, you're powerful. I get it. But if you're a powerful corporation, there's some recourse. If you're a powerful no recourse. Look at my governor. My governor is accused of harassing and or assaulting 10 women. Is it a chance it's wrong and misunderstanding and he didn't do it? Possible. There's a chance, but I think we realize that's a very small chance. Odds are he did it, but maybe he didn't. I want to be clear. There's a chance that this is a massive conspiracy against him. There is a chance. He's not guilty yet. Kind of, but no, he's not guilty yet. And he's also accused of literally sending thousands of people to their death in nursing homes. And his punishment is nothing. Nothing. That's just Democrats. Trump was accused of all kinds of things. And his punishment was nothing. No punishment. I mean, I guess he got impeached, but so what? Didn't affect him. He doesn't care. He's down in wherever he is now, building hotels or whatever he's doing now. So yeah, what's that? But now, corporations, what happens when this happens to them? They get in trouble. Their boards get rid of them. There is some recourse. You can boycott Pepsi or Coke. There's a chance something can happen. You're gonna boycott your Democrat or Republican. I mean, maybe you might primary him. Okay, you primary him, and maybe you win. And then another guy or gal in. And what do you do? Vote and hope. And they're under the same pressures that the last guy or gal was. Not impressive. Not impressive. It hasn't been working. So that's really a piece that makes me laugh in a way. So I'll grab a couple more here if I can. Wow, so many of these. Oh my God, there's so many of them. All right. He wants the big corporations that earn billions of dollars suspended for the public without using taxes. Yes. And then he goes, but this is the very purpose of taxes. Yes, but it doesn't work now because they don't want to pay the taxes. They'll want to pay for this. There's difference. See, the thing that I have in my head that so many people don't have is I don't want to use force, because if I use force, they will try to use force back. They will rebel. You see it. It's already happening now. But if they want to pay for it and go, oh my God, I want this. This is great. Write a check. Write a check for it. It's already happening. And again, you want your local magistrate, you want your local mayor, your local congressperson, let's say, to control it. They do, with a good contract. That's it. If the contract's screwed up, sue them. You have recourse at least. I'd ask you again, what's your recourse for your mayor? Maybe vote them out in 4 years. So they do 4 years of damage and you hope that the next mayor's not so bad. I like this better. So that's just where I'm going. All right. Yeah. Benjamin says, do you think forcing them into it is a better idea? Yeah. It's not going to work. We've been trying that, haven't we? We've been trying to, right? It doesn't work. It doesn't work at all. So I think that's Cubba. I think his name is Cubba. The government is just corrupt elite, so we should get the corporations involved. No, we should change the system. That's what we should do. Change system. That's what I'm trying to do. Let's not swap one elite for another elite. That doesn't make much sense, does it? So I won't have your king, I'll have my king. I would like no kings. I'd rather have it that way. So, and everybody is right behind him. I know, right? Yeah. That's a good one. Yeah. And I'm saying to myself, none of you guys get it at all. And perhaps it's the audience. I mean, it could be that. Maybe they're young or don't have experience. I don't know. I don't know the audience well enough to be able to make a judgment on that. But it seems funny how when I speak about these things to people who are in the industries or to the politicians, they're like, these are good ideas. Larry, we should talk about this. And then they go, wait, you don't have any power? I'm going to walk away again. I thought you were going to win something. So they begin to walk away. So that's definitely an issue. So, yes. All right. And then Esteban says, how brain dead do you have to be? I'm wondering, Esteban, why don't you tell me? How brain dead do you have to be to think that the current system is going to work and you'll just yell at them louder, or you'll just get, I don't know, AOC to be president and then it'll all be better? Is that how that works? That's what you're saying, I guess. Or you're going to have a violent overthrow? Is that your thing? I know some socialists are like, we're going to overthrow. What? You taking the guns away? Who's overthrowing? The only people who have guns are not the socialists. So I don't know who's overthrowing who. You're getting rid of the gun. So even that's not going to work. So I don't know. Then Major Mike, the man, says, the lack of self-awareness when he speaks. I know. The lack of self-awareness, Major Mike. Yeah. Guys, half my age, 1/4 my experience going, that guy's naive. It's amazing. I love it. I'm not mad, though. I mean, I knew this kind of stuff was going to happen. I totally get it. Now, Christian's smart. Christian says, corporations can actually go out of business and they're beholden to their customers, so they have a vested interest in their product succeeding. If a country goes to hell, politicians still make all the money they want. Yeah. Corporations are accountable to their customers. Politicians are accountable to nobody. Yes, absolutely. Bernie Sanders has been losing elections for years. Well, for president, he's been losing elections for years. And he's making more and more money. That guy's winning. I'm not mad at him. I'm glad that he's making money. I'm glad he's doing well for himself. No worries. Totally glad he's doing well for himself. I'm not mad at all. All I'm saying is he's still making money, right? All the people who've destroyed our country, bombed people, basically should be war criminals, all making tons of money. So it's not like they're any better. Absolutely true. And then Cubba says, I love this. Corporations go out of business on purpose in order to maximize the amount of profit to the shareholders and minimize the amount spent on the workers. Holy shit, is that stupid? Wow. That is just, I hate corporations. Wow. So they purposely go bankrupt. They go out of business on purpose so they can get the, no, that's M&A activity, which he doesn't understand. Will larger corporations purchase smaller corporations? Yes, they will. And then bankrupt or destroy those smaller corporations so they can chew them up and take the assets. Yes. And we'll fire those employees. Yes. That's not a company going bankrupt on purpose. That's mergers and acquisition activity. And the reason why that happens so much now is because going public is difficult because government decided we're going to regulate it. So because they regulated it so much, companies said, oh, we're not going to do that then. We'll do this thing instead. So they literally increased mergers and acquisitions and increased massive layoffs. That's what the government did. Well done, government. So even that thought process is insane. What business goes out? Yeah, you know what Jeff Bezos wants right now? Put Amazon out of business so he can maximize shareholder, whatever stupidity that guy said. I'm sorry, not stupid. That's, you know what? I shouldn't say that. Kaba, I apologize. It's not stupid. It's naive. It's clearly naive. It's clearly naive. That's really what it is. I'm sorry. It's not stupid. It's naive. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that. So yes. Then Christian responds well with, what competition does government have again? Thank you, Christian. You were thinking. You're on my side. By your exact logic, why would the government care about the citizens? Yes. Governments are just corporations that can't go out of business and are allowed to shoot you. So stealing that, Christian. Governments are just corporations that can't go out of business and are allowed to shoot you and imprison you. Don't forget that. And in prison. They can both shoot and imprison you. Yes. Jeremy says, libertarians are completely dependent on others, but fully convinced of their own independence. I don't know who said that. He just made that up. He's like, I'm mad. Libertarians suck. Okay. I never said that. I've never said that ever. In fact, even when Vaush is talking about, socializing businesses and allowing businesses to, be co-ops. Okay, go on. Just don't force it. Good luck. Give it a shot. I hope it works. It'd be great. Yes. And then 70 responds, right? Who just basically like facts. Yeah. No man's an island. Just all like, yeah. As if libertarians are like, we hate people. Never said that. We just don't want to be forced to do stuff. And you shouldn't either. And they don't want to either. They don't want to be forced to do stuff anyway. They just think that when their guy's in charge, they'll be fine. Yes. So great summarization of libertarian ideology. Let me give you a real summarization of libertarian ideology. Be as liberal or as conservative as you want to be. Just don't force your views on others. Done. That's a better summary. Let's use that one instead. I think that's a better one. So, let's see here. There we go. Mr. Big says, I'm not sure you've met actual libertarians. Yeah, they haven't. That's true. They have not done it at all. This is just people mad because I'm mad at stuff. Let me grab a couple of our comments. That went on for a long time. and then I'll go to the next ones if I can. I'll grab some. I got a lot of you guys are commenting, and I want to cover some of your stuff too. I know I'm supposed to be dealing with only his, but I also want to deal with yours also. All right. Kiss Off says, really happy you guys go together. My friends that I sometimes look up to is a rich boy libertarian anarchist, and the kid I like in the internet is a libertarian socialist. I like it. There we go. We came together. Happy. I was very happy with the conversation. I would do it again. I'm very happy with it. John says, if Texas and Florida embrace leaving the union, would place more pressure on states like California and New York to reduce their heavy reliance on federal subsidies to subsidize their big state spending? No, not at all, John. In reality, New York gives far more to the federal government than we get back. I know people don't like this, but most of the red states are subsidized by the blue states. Our tax base is so much higher. The number of people that we have is so much more. So most of the blue states subsidize most of the red states. That's not 100% rule. There are some that's mostly, but not 100%. But most of the blue states actually put more into taxes than the red states do. So that's not really accurate. And I don't think Florida and Texas are going to embrace leaving the union. I don't think so at all. I don't see them doing it. I mean, maybe Texas because they have a history of it and they have a culture of it. But again, America has decided, against what many people think, that you may not leave. The Civil War was proof of that. America said you may not leave. And states go, 10th Amendment, and they go, guns. So no. So yes. So John also says, also just want to say, blue t-shirt, gold lettering, I was recruited by the CIA. That's true. Maybe I should buy that one. That's true, because I was. Absolutely. Yes. Sam says, sadly, they would just keep spending until the currency collapses. I think that's true. And I agree. If you're going to follow the magical money theory, I mean, modern monetary theory, then you never have to stop spending, in which case it works. If you can just keep spending forever and the money never runs out, Sam, if that's the case, socialism does work. If you can just keep spending, just never stop spending. Yes, absolutely. So your argument is pro-planning. I'm not sure what that means, Kevin, but yes. Is there a problem with planning? I don't know if is that a bad thing or a good thing? I'm not sure, but yes, it is pro-planning. If that was an insult, I'll take it. If that was a compliment, thank you. I'm not sure what that was. Yes. John says, Vaush supporters are often very thick-headed in ways of separate state issues. They look at New York and they see high taxes, high spending. I'm like, I think it's good. It's not. New Yorkers like us see the true damage. See, this is another thing people don't realize. Many of the people that, of course, don't live in New York. And what they're not getting is, we've been doing almost everything they're saying. And I just talked earlier today on my other show, A Free Solution, on terrestrial radio and WYSL, about what's happening in New York and I did it last night too. On the show last night, I did it. Talking about with New York, with now our governor is deciding what percentage profit companies can make and what they can allow to charge and what they must give away for free. I'm not making that up. That's how New York State is doing now in order to control things, higher taxes, all those things. And what's happening? People are leaving New York in droves, packing up and going. We lost 400,000 people just out of New York City last year. 500,000 workers are never coming back. These are 400,000 who are permanently leaving. We lost over 1 million that are supposedly temporary. Who knows if they actually come back or not? If they don't come back, we're going to lose 1 million people in 1 year just out of New York City. I mean, we're talking that the cities, if they don't come back, and who knows if they will or won't, I don't know. According to surveys done by Small Business Association, not Small Business, I'm sorry. Is it, I've actually got to do a survey. According to one survey, and I don't know how many there were, but according to this one survey, they believe that out of the 1 million who left, 500,000 will come back by September. And then who knows if the rest will come back at all. Now, how accurate is that? I don't know, but that's one survey. If it's even close, if half don't come back, 250,000 leave, that's still massive amount of workers that are not coming back. So it's not working. Whatever we're talking about, it is not working. So yes. Aaron says the United States federal government has a budget of $4 trillion. I know we're funding something, aren't we? Yes, we're funding something. Yes, absolutely. 100%. So, Kevin says the government came up with the vaccine in our country. However, the capitalists waggle their fingers at each other. The government came up with the vaccine? I thought 3 different companies did. J&J and Pfizer and one more, right? Moderna, is that right? Did you get that right? I think 3 companies came out, right? I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not sure what you're talking about, Kevin. I'm not getting. Is this for me or is it for someone else? I'm not sure. Maybe I've missed it. So yeah. James says Venezuela was the 5th richest country in the world. Now they're eating their pets and zoo animals. Also true. Yes, also true. So Dan says businesses think long term because they have to please their customers and shareholders and to remain in business because they have competition. It's politicians who think short term. Thank you, Dan. They think the next 2 years to the next election. They often don't think past the next election, of course, or even the next day. Politicians can think short term because they don't have to please you. They rely on taxes that are taken, not earned. They don't even have competition. And greedy, politicians have power lust. And as the great Harry Brown said, we don't need to go any further. But yes. Peter says, love your perspective, Larry. Thanks for being a voice of liberty. I appreciate that too. Let me grab a couple more of these comments that they had here. So let's see here. Some of these business people are the definition of when you have a hammer, every problem becomes a nail. Business literally solves everything to them. Now, remember when he goes business people, in his mind, this is replicator fifth. That's an insult. Like he's like business people, oh, you pieces of garbage. That's an insult for him. He doesn't think that's a good thing. Business people are evil, I guess, because you get jobs from non-business people. You get your internet from non-business people. Where do you get it from? I think all business people, but it's fine. They're all evil. He says, when you have a hammer, the problem's a nail. I would argue, Mr. Fifth, that the reverse is true. I'm not using a hammer. No corporation has to lease the bridge. They can negotiate a price. That's not a hammer. If they don't lease the naming rights to the bridge, they can go about their business. But when it comes to taxes, they don't have a choice. I have a hammer. They'll pay the taxes, or I will hammer them. I will come after them. So what will they do? Either fight back with tons of money and legal teams and accounting teams, or they'll leave. How would I know that? Because that's what they've been doing for 100 years. That will be the reason I know that. Evidence of the past 100 years would show you that's what happens. That's how it works. Why do you think so many people have been gaining? So many business people have been getting their money not from salary but from things like bonuses and capital gains, because there used to be like an 80-90% tax rate on salaries. So what do? We're not going to give you big salaries anymore. We'll give you something else. And that legacy is to this day. For those of you who know the Wall Streeters, many of the Wall Streeters who make 7 figures a year, their salary is relatively low compared to the amount of money they make. They make a huge chunk on bonus. I mean, very often a bonus, not always, depending on where they are, but very often a bonus for a heavy hitter on Wall Street is a serious multiple of their salary. So you might say, well, he's a Wall Streeter. This guy makes $400,000 a year. Look how he's a big Wall Streeter. That's nothing. That's nothing. If some guy or gal if she makes $500,000 a year in salary, her bonus could be $5 million. Her bonus could be times 10. So we're going to tax her 90%. Great. So you tax 90% on the $500,000. You get $450,000. Good on you. And then capital gains and the rest. That's not going to work. That's 20%. You won. No, they found ways around it. That's how it always works. That's how it always works. So, yes. So how about instead get them to pay for what we need? We need this, corporation. Pay for it. Now, I know the response I got one of the responses were, Larry, I don't want to see Pepsi on the bridge. I don't want to see Pepsi on the bridge that I'm crossing. Think about how self-centered that person is who says that. I don't want to see that. You don't want to see it. So you'd rather have people who are struggling to pay their rent pay $18 per toll per bridge, because that's what it is now. That's your alternative. Yeah, I don't want to see. So because you don't like the way it looks, you want them to pay $18 to go one way on one bridge in New York City. You want them to wind up paying soon $3 or $4 for one subway ride when they're only making $50 an hour at max. That's what you want. Yeah, it's not a good idea. So you can do that and still have potholes and still have traffic, or you could throw Pepsi on the bridge and close and do like this. You know, put your hands over your eyes as you cross over because you hate Pepsi or whatever you hate. I don't care. I want better I want people to have a better lifestyle in my city and in my state. That's what I want. And if you don't like that, no worries. You can stay in your state. No worries. But I would like our people to be better. That's my view. So, all right. See here. Then King Hasi, he's a king. A lot of kings and people who think they're great around here. Pattern. This is what corporate feudalism looks like. What I'm saying? No, what we have now. You mean what we have now? Are you trying to take what I'm saying and measure it against perfection? Well, I lose, but so do you. Or are you trying to take my ideas and measure them against status quo? If it's against status quo, I'm killing it. Against status quo, I'm winning. Against perfection, but if you have the perfect plan, I'm in. So far, what I hear your perfect plan is get Bernie as president and tax rich people and then give lots of money to schools, because then we'll be great. Our school system is garbage right now, and you know that. You know it is. So we'll give more money to a garbage school system. That'll work. So, yes. And so here he says, yes, 100%. I'm trying to wake up people. We live in feudalism with electricity. It's not bad, G-Will. It's not bad. Dynamic World says there are two types of libertarians: the con men pushing neo-feudalism and the rubes that fell for the BS rebranding of conservative fascism. Also, I'm a conservative fascist, I guess, or I'm a con man pushing neo-feudalism. Okay. Those types of comments show that Dynamic Worlds doesn't live in the real world. He lives in a dynamic world, because the average person doesn't know what neo-feudalism is and doesn't think that I'm a conservative fascist at all. So, okay, I guess you get points for big words. Well done. But where did I speak about neo-feudalism? Where was that? Who were the people who were owning me? Because you leased naming rights to a bridge? How do you own my property? You know what's happening now? Today, my governor in my state tells me whether or not I can go to work or not. I'm a freaking serf in my own state now. You talking about neo-feudalism? Why don't you wake up, my friend? The government tells you whether you can go to work or not. The government surveils you every day. You don't have a choice. They're doing it. If the government wants to put you in jail because you have a plant in your pocket, federally now, in many states not, but federally now, they will put you in jail and take away all your freedom. That's happening now. The government now, my government tells to certain businesses how much profit they can make, and they do price fixing. We have neo-feudalism now. What's wrong with you? I'm trying to break this. Think of how backward you are. Yeah, neo-feudalism. You're in it now, my friend, and it's going further. And you're like, yay, I'm so happy the government won't let me leave my house. At least I'm not a serf like these idiot libertarians trying to be free and stuff. Brilliant, my friend. Brilliant. You're embarrassing yourself. I'm glad you're in your own circle, because in your own echo chamber, I'm sure you're brilliant. But step outside, you might want to look at reality. So, Reich Wing Watt says he's the Reich Wing. A Reich Wing. Okay, the Empire Wing. My point was there are more than 2 guns libertarians, but apparently you know that already, just making sure. Oh, okay. Sorry, he was saying something else. No worries. About classical type. Okay. All right, so if I can grab this real fast here. Here. This guy gets it. His name is Witty Kind Galad. He says, capitalism is not the same as feudalism. Try reading Marx. There we go. I like that. He's thinking. Adam says, I think this is Vaush's best debate in a long time. I know everyone loves the anti-fascist blood sport, but our political discourse really needs more policy-focused discussion like this. Thank you, Adam. See, somebody liked it. I appreciate that. There we go. George says, what I take away is that this guy has an unreasonable level of faith in corporations to do what's right for society, or even do what's rational. Corporations almost always do what's rational. Not always, but almost always do what's rational. So that concept is silly. And no, I don't. I don't want them to do what's right for society. I don't expect that. That's why we have contracts. So they'll agree to do what's right via contract, and they'll pay for it and get something in return. So there'll be a reason to do the right thing. I'm trying to create a system to just imagine for a second, George, Right now, most municipalities pay a lot of money to fix potholes and to have better roads. New York State does. We spend tens of billions of dollars to repair infrastructure. We have over 100 billion over the course of the next 10 years, whatever it is, scheduled for building infrastructure. And our infrastructure is terrible. Bridges collapse right now in our state. That happens in almost every state, I'm sure, but they collapse in our state. We have terrible infrastructure and we spend billions. So why doesn't the government do the right thing? Right? It doesn't, does it? Literally, people die because of the government. Literally, people die directly because of the government. So why aren't they doing it? Why don't you say a system to where it would make sense? What happens if a bridge collapses now in New York is they blame some local guy for something and the politicians are all okay. They get in the TV and go, we'll never make that happen. We'll pass more regulations, and they spend more money and bridges still collapse. That's what happens now. It's been happening for decades. So how do we fix that? Well, imagine for a second if we do let Domino's in New York start fixing potholes. I know people hate that, but they do it. Okay, so Domino's starts fixing potholes. They put their little symbol on the potholes they fix. We show them how to do it, tell them what's effective in our city, fix the potholes, they go. As they're fixing potholes and they, of course, sharing with us what roads they're going to work on, awesome. We now get to move our people who are already now there into other places so other people get better service. So now someone else is getting a better service. Look at that. Already better service within the first month. But not just that. As Domino's Pizza starts getting their name out there, Pizza Hut goes, I want that. Papa John says, I want that. I want that too. Oh, you do? Oh, well, you can start fixing potholes over here if you want to. Okay. And they start doing it. Well, now they all want it. There's only a certain number of roads in my town or in my city. So now we got to bid on it. Who wants it? Now you got to pay for it. Yeah. We can do it so much over time. I mean, this is not 5 minutes. Over time, a year, 2 years, maybe. That's it. Now I got people bidding to fix our potholes. And if they don't fix it, their name's on it. Their name is on it. So, Papa John, why aren't you fixing my potholes? You suck, Papa John. He doesn't want that. He'll stop fixing the potholes. Of course he will. If it doesn't, he'll lose the contract. We'll give it to whatever, McDonald's, Burger King, I don't care. Larry, you want me to have Burger King on my road? Yes, because you'll have better roads. Because government has failed us for 300 freaking years. Yeah, I want you to have better roads. I do. And if that means I have McDonald's on your road, so what? Have a better road. Don't trash your car. Because a lot of people in this country, that if their car is trashed, that trashes them. So I don't want to trash your car. I want you to have good roads. But Larry, then eventually we'll have it to where the city's not paying for people to fix the roads anymore. They're going to lose their jobs. Yeah, they'll lose their city jobs. But Domino's and Burger King, whoever is not fixing roads, they have to hire people not to fix roads. They'll hire them. Yeah. So they're not going to lose their job. Well, they will, but they'll gain one right there because it's the same people. They still need the same people to clean it, to fix it. But guess what now happens? We can lower the tax base. So the average person is not doing it. But let's say you really care about your roads. Great. You can put more money into it if you want to. Or you can keep going to Domino's Pizza and you'll be helping supporting your roads if you care about that. Or not. Either way, you get your roads. That's the thing I'm talking about. I'm looking at the outcome. The outcome with these ideas give poor people, people in the middle class, better outcomes, and the rich get to spend their money on the advertising that they want. They want you to buy their pizza. And they're going to do it either online or on TV or on the radio, or they're going to put a billboard on a road that they're going to say, potholes fixed by Pizza Hut. Go to pizzahut.com and buy our pizza. Fine. Guess what? You don't have to buy their pizza if you don't want to. And you still get the road. Taxes go down. You feel better. Life is good. This is a good situation and a good solution. Is it perfect? No. But now sucks. This is better. So, next guy says, so I don't have an unreasonable faith in companies at all. I expect them to do what's rational. So create an environment so they'll do what's rational. Yes. And then Gilo says, this guy's delusional. Yeah, it's funny that you would think that. It's fine. I get it. So, he says, libertarians are simply laissez-faire bootlickers. So Katie says, they'd rather be ruled by a corporation than by we the people. Okay, we're not ruled by we the people. We're ruled by a set of elites who get into office and keep screwing us. So maybe I'm an idea bootlicker. Okay, maybe. you're like a physical bootlicker. Like you're like actually in the boot of a real thing. I'm going to go you being worse than me. It's imaginary. Yours is real. So anyway, we can both lick boots together. You lick boot, you want to lick? I'll lick my boot. You do you. I'll do me. I love it. Libertarians. All good. So they're the people who internalize the nice feeling you get when you watch corny commercials or go to the mall. Okay, is that who I am? I guess these are insults, right? I guess they're insults. Okay, no worries. I'm insulted. I feel bad. Let's see here. Here, Amazon, Hakeem says, Amazon actually lobbies for high minimum wage because it kills their competition. Thank you. These evil corporations are against minimum wage. No, they're not. Do your homework, my friends. Do your homework. They're all about minimum wage. Minimum wage it up. All about it. Because they know that they can handle it, absorb it, and the rest can't. So, yeah, they're all about it. 100%. So, and Zachary says, you can shorten this to corporations can't be trusted. But government can. There's the problem. There's no recourse to government. So you can actually hold the corporation accountable. I don't think they're any better than government. To the other gentleman's point, I think it was Christopher, he said government's just a corporation that can't go out of business and can shoot you. Yeah, same thing. I love it. Naruto says, this guy starts with, I have a bridge to sell you. What did you think? And I'm not selling the bridge, leasing naming rights, but it's fine. What do you think I was going to do? I was going to start with Medicaid for all. I'm libertarian. What do you think I was going to start with? Let me grab some more of ours if we can. Some of these. Paula says, one of the other big reasons, if you will, I hear for people defending socialism is poor single mothers. Agreed. And I always hear about poor single mothers as an excuse from rich college-educated women. I actually agree with you. And what I talk about consistently is how do we make things better for them? What most socialists say is write them checks. That's happening now. Like that's what's happening now. For most single mothers, once you have two kids, and this is not a 100% rule, but it's a good 80 to 90% rule. Once you have two kids, unless you have a really good support structure, and some people do, but many single mothers don't, you'd be a fool to work. Because if you work, you're going to pay so much in childcare that you'll spend less time with your kids and bring home less money. So why would you? It makes no sense. You should just stay home, spend time with your kids, and get more money. This is rational. This is why people do it. They're not doing it because they're stupid or lazy. They're doing it because they're smart. It makes sense. Why would you? So why don't you instead make childcare cheaper? This is what I'm talking about. You make childcare cheaper, and then all of a sudden now they can put their kid in childcare. How, Larry? It's going to be dangerous. Okay, I'm sorry. So of the kids who are being abused or battered, has it all of a sudden gone away because everyone goes to licensed childcare? No, some kids are still horribly abused. It still happens. I'm not saying I want that to happen. What I'm saying is let the parents decide. Voluntary. Keep licensed daycare. I'm not getting rid of that. As always, keep it. But also have the idea of a child garden, a place where if you want to take your kid to a nonprofit, make it a nonprofit, any nonprofit, and you want to drop your kid off there, if you trust the nonprofit, you may. That's it. You may. And you can make any deal you want if you like. That's it. Not against the law. You don't take the church and throw it out. You don't, the VFW or whoever, whatever's the organization, the Knights of Columbus, whatever that organization is, you don't, find them at all. You decide. Maybe it's a local church. Paul, maybe you go to a local church and say, hey, I'm a single mom. I'm trying to get back into the workforce. I want to work for 4 hours a day so I can get back and understand what's going on, so I can make myself better, so I get some experience, get a good job. Okay, great. Drop your kid off for 4 hours. Oh, good. What's the price? Services on Sunday, show up, and bingos on Tuesday night. You're calling the numbers, bring your kids. Done. If they want to do that. But Larry, they won't do background checks. Then tell them to do background checks. Well, they won't do it. Then don't go. It's voluntary. There's no order. Go to a regular license care or stay home and collect your check. Whatever you want. But if you want to go, now you have an option. Now they might want to make this happen too. Not just, I talked about an insurance policy. And socialists hate this. But insurance policy that will begin to help you get off of the dole. The problem is right now, for money, you don't know this. Once you hit a certain level of income, you lose all your benefits now. all gone. So why would you ever want to go past it? But what if you had a statewide insurance policy that would replace, right, for every $2 you make, right, pays off $1. So you can grow yourself off slow. You can wean yourself off of public assistance. That actually makes sense. That's a market answer, but I guess evil by socialists. That's an actual answer to allow people who want to get off. They can without being trapped in poverty. But again, it's optional. You want to stay home and collect a check? Go ahead. You want to move out? You can. And the next thing, I don't want to make every single person an employee. I want to support the gig economy. Why? Because how does the average person make a change in their life now? The average person has at least 3 careers. If you're young, you're going to have 5 careers, not jobs, careers. How do you learn your next career? You got to work. That's why Fiverr and the gig economy is how people begin to learn the new jobs. You learn the new job. Now you become talented because you've learned it. Now you're good at it. Now you have more value and you get a better salary. You're a single mom, as you said, Paula. What a great way of making that work. What a great way of being a gig economy worker and learning a skill, figuring out what you like and what you want to do and moving forward. They don't have any answers like that. We do. We have answers. We actually care about them. I actually do. How do I know? My mom was a single mom. My father died when I was 11. And that was it. I know how that works. There should be a system for that. Absolutely. So, all right. We've been talking about philanthropy for 350 years. It doesn't work. Capitalism doesn't work. Neither of those things are true. We have been talking about philanthropy for 350 years, and I'm not asking for that. That's the point. You think I'm talking about philanthropy. I'm not, Kevin. What I'm talking about is a rational system that people will do the right thing because it makes sense for them to do the right thing. That's why you do it, right? If it makes sense to do it, you do it. If it doesn't, you won't. Will there always be the person who do something dumb or silly? Of course. That person's always going to exist. But you make a better system, you get better outcomes. So your system is socialism works. When does socialism work? If capitalism fails, okay, I'll buy that. So when has socialism worked? If that's the issue, then we've all failed. So I'm looking at one thing, not capitalism, not even socialism, just not forcing people to do stuff. The problem with socialism is you have to force people to do things. If you tell me voluntary socialism, I'm in. Right? You can go be the Amish if you want to. You can live in a kibbutz if you want to. Go on with your bad self. Start your commune. I'm in. Go do that. Love it. I won't bother you at all. I won't even laugh. Go ahead and do it. I'll come visit you on the days that I'm allowed to. I'll come visit you. 100%. Well, I'll high five. And if it works for you, be happy, man. You do you. No worries. So, Lisa says, but what about the workers and the unions? I'm tired of hearing that excuse. Well, I'll put that on here too, right? The whole idea of the maintenance on the bridges and maintenance on the roads. If you have a union issue, I'm not anti-union at all. Unions are literally the First Amendment. They are freedom of speech and freedom of association. You want a collective bargain, good on you. Only issue is you shouldn't have to if you don't want to. If you don't want to, you don't have to. No worries. If you want to be a union, part of a union, please go ahead. The issue is if you have a problem with that, again, you put it in the contract. So for every time you do maintenance on a bridge, maybe you have to, make sure that I'm making these numbers up for sake of argument. 50% of your, at least 50% of your workers are union, and at least 75 are at prevailing wage or something like that. I mean, you can make any kind of mix that you want. You negotiate that. So they have to have a certain number of union workers, whatever that number is. And they have to have a certain prevailing wage, a certain percentage, or whatever the case may be. And they get contractors too. I mean, sometimes you have to fill holes with workers here or there. So you give them some percentage to fill holes with workers, and the rest have to be either union or prevailing wage or some combination. It's not rocket science. You could just have if you had a government that wasn't, that actually would have a conversation and sit down and negotiate, it could actually work 100%. So it's not crazy at all. So my county chair, my county council chair suggested naming rights for a car beach access entry to augment beach car access fees at Tuesday meeting. They kicked the can down the road to discuss in October after budget season. Yeah. And that's the issue because it doesn't feel right. So they'd rather the local people pay more. Remember, every time you play that, well, I don't want to have this commercialized, you are literally saying, Other people, particularly people who can't afford it, have to pay more. And we're the selfish ones, right? And we're the selfish ones. Capitalism is just socialism for the 1% only and rugged individually for the rest. I would say a lot of countries would disagree with you, Kevin. Capitalism has helped a lot of countries move people forward. I think the data is completely incorrect. It goes against what you're saying. Absolutely. Yes. Libertarians never heard the term regulatory capture. I bring it up all the time. Why do you think I'm trying to break monopolies, Kevin? You're another person going, I don't like libertarians, so I'm going to yell at them. I bring it up all the time. That's my entire point about breaking the monopolies, not having hardcore regulations for the smaller businesses, so they are able to come up and compete. The difference is I don't want to try to forcefully take down Goliath. You can if you want to, and you might do it if you had a government that was anti, big business. But our government is completely pro big business. They're in bed together, so the odds of them actually doing that are impossible. Not impossible, very low. That's what I was saying, very low. Vaush said, well, Larry, you're talking about a bunch of, local laws at a state level, laws at a county level. And I'm saying, yeah, because that could actually get passed. Do you think you'd actually pass a law nationally with the amount of lobbyists and power at the national level that would be all encompassing, that would take down all the big businesses? I mean, maybe, but I don't see it happening. But could you see it happening at smaller pieces, smaller levels, and then exploding from there? Yes. Yes. Like Joe's talking about his county executive. Yeah, that could actually work. It's a longer term plan. It absolutely is. But it could work. It's one that could work, right? I want the same things that most socialists want, meaning I want better services for people. I want people to be happier. I want people to have better lives. I don't want big corporations running everything. It's not what I want. So I'm trying to set up a system that will actually work versus I want magically capitalism to go away tomorrow. I don't know. You going to do something I don't know about? You got some plan? I don't know. So Michael says we need Waffle House to open many more locations. We'll beat their own path to a Waffle House to get their breakfast. I like that. I like Waffle House. I'm in. That's great. Before government got in the business of roads, people and companies found a way to make it happen. Take the first steel bridge in America. It was paid for by companies that wanted to move its goods. There we go. Yes, absolutely. I love it. Raise your hand if you've witnessed government scraping their plows on bare pavement, clipping manholes, and also tearing up sidewalks. Yes, which requires more taxes to repair things the next season. I'd voluntarily donate to a private entity that took pride and care in my roads instead of continue destroying them. All the time. Yes, all the time. 100%. Yes. Let me grab some more of theirs if I can. See if I can grab this. Let's see. Every time I hear a libertarian idea, it sounds like a teenager idea of an awesome YA series. So the idea of leasing naming rights, 10 years, front loading it with provisions for union workers and prevailing wage and an out clause to eliminate tolls for the average person. That's teenagers. Is that right? But we're going to give everybody stuff. That's the real one. No, I think it's Nobist 85. You might want to get out of your echo chamber. That's all. Witty Kind responds, same thing with communism. Yep. Every one of those is exactly the same. 100%. Thank you for having my back. I appreciate that. Yes. So, all right. They're fighting back and forth there. This is all this stuff. Let me go another one. If we tax companies, they'll leave. Never get tired of hearing that 100 times a day. The retro perspective thinks that's dumb. He thinks that's dumb. If we tax companies, they'll leave. Okay. The New York Stock Exchange is considering leaving New York. They have New York in their name. And why? Because you know what we were going to do? See, some of you don't know that. Again, a lot of it's naivete. They just don't know. Or ignorance. There was going to be a plan to tax transaction fees. That was the plan in New York State, to tax transaction fees to raise money. The stock exchange makes a whole lot of money on transaction fees. And when we were going to tax transaction fees, they said, you do that and we're out. We're gone. And that's another reason why my governor was like, you know what? We decided to change how we're going to do taxes. Yeah, because literally that's true. What this guy believes is a joke or something stupid literally is happening. The amount of people I deal with, and for those of you who know, since our governor, His Majesty King Andrew Cuomo II, all hail the king, since he has deemed me non-essential to go out and work in the city from last year, most of my business changed from corporate training, college teaching, to instead mostly coaching. That's all I could do from not being able to go into the city, shut down. Well, most of that coaching is with people who are relatively wealthy. Some are very wealthy, but all are well off. Some are very wealthy. They all make 6 or 7 figures a year. And those people, many of them, most of them, I would say, have left New York City. Most have left New York City. If you're very wealthy in New York City, you have 2 homes usually. Not always, but usually have 2. You have someplace you can stay in the city, and then someplace else like Jersey Shore, Long Island, Florida, North Carolina, something. You have something someplace, Arizona, Colorado. You have something someplace else. So many of those people have gone to that second place. They've been working there for a year. They're not coming back. So now with the taxes being raised, they're not coming back. Why would they? Not just that, all that tax we get from the residential and commercial real estate, they're not coming back. They want to go. They were going to raise that too. They changed the amount on that one also because they realize if they're going to raise tax on commercial, no one will come back. They just won't come back. They'll find other places. Places like Nashville, which is exploding. Florida, which is still rocking and rolling. They go to places like that. Florida has no state income tax. And I'll say it again. Florida has no state income tax. A similar population, both demographically and in numbers. And they have more people than us, a little bit more, half our budget. And no state income tax. Just give it more money. That'll work. That'll work. So the Big Red Leaf says, it seems they forget that every country worth doing business in also has government demand they pay tax. Yes, but not high taxes, right? Why is Dublin exploding? What is exploding? Because they're making themselves friendly to big business, particularly finance and transaction fees, which is a huge piece of how they make money. Yeah, they're making tax havens. So people run to tax havens. That happens every day, right? That literally happens every day. This is naivete again. Yes. Amazon threatened to leave New York too, but they didn't because they need New York. Companies need the American market more than the American market needs them. What? Wow, that's dumb. Wow, that's dumb. Amazon, they built a thing in Virginia, not New York. I don't know what you're talking about. That's just completely not true. I don't know what he's talking about. They're in Virginia, not New York. They have hubs all over the place. So do they need New York? Yeah, because there's 16 million people here. The same reason why they'd want a bridge here, huh? The same reason when people laughed at me when I talked about the idea of fixing the MTA. I talked about fixing the MTA. If you guys remember this, the idea of allowing freight trains to come into the city at night. Freight trains at night. And the argument is, and it's a valid argument, I mean, you can't just put freight trains on a residential line, a passenger line. True. That's right. So what do you have to do? Rebuild it. Now, would they need to rebuild every line? No, the freight lines are specific lines. They'd want to build those lines there. They won't build their lines. Great. We're not ending the MTA. So the people who fix the train lines will just be able to fix just the lines they don't fix. Better service, yet again. Note how this keeps happening. Better service for everybody. And they'll have to rebuild the entire lines. Why would they do that? So they could save literally billions of dollars over the next 10 years. Because guess what? Large corporations do think 10 years down the line. The idea that they don't is just not understanding corporations. I literally teach at Yale and Columbia. I teach 3-year plans for even smaller businesses. 3-year plans, at least for smaller businesses. Bigger businesses go out 8-10 years. Companies like Gillette, they know how you're going to be shaving 10 years from now, easy, 20 years from now. They would have got whatever, the 9-blade razor or whatever they're doing now. They do all those things. So that's just something that these guys say. It's just completely not true. Of course they would. When they build out something like a large headquarters or something, they'll drop $1 billion on that. I'm not joking. They'll drop $1 billion on a brand new corporate headquarters. So why wouldn't you drop $1 billion on an infrastructure to bring your product to a metro area of 16 million people? That's a lot of packages. A lot of packages. And you get your name on it too. It's the Amazon line. Well, I don't like the Amazon line. Great. So you'd rather a poor person or working poor or a homeless person who's trying to escape the heat, you'd rather them have to pay $4 or $5 for a Subway because you don't like the name is Amazon. That makes you upset. That makes you upset that it has to have Amazon on it. Well, then maybe we should have a better government these past 100 years. Maybe then that wouldn't have happened. But we've had a crappy government for at least 50, if not 100 years. At least. So now we have to fix it. You don't have a better answer. So, oh no, I'm sorry. Here's the answer that we're having in New York City. Here's the answer. Raising the fares on an already broken system, pushing out all of the Ubers and the Lyfts to ensure that anyone who wants to make extra money can't, and then congestion pricing. So more money to come into the center of the city. And here's the thing that people who are outside the city don't know. The wealthy already live in the center of the city. They're not paying for it. Who has to go to the center of the city? Those people who service the wealthy. They have to go. They have to now pay extra to go or take a broken system and pay more for it. But you don't want Amazon on your railroad because that would look bad. It would make you unhappy. I don't care if you're unhappy. Don't take the subway then if it makes you so angry. Don't take the subway then. I'm okay. Instead, what do I see? I see a broken subway system and people getting physically assaulted on it now, stabbed on it now, and paying is it $3 now? $2.50? Whatever it is now. And it will soon be $3 or $4 because we can't afford it anymore. I'll take Amazon or Pepsi, Coke, J&J, Pfizer. I don't care. Fine. I want a better system for my people. That's what I want. So then Premier Sporting KC says the company sponsoring bridges is insane to me. It's insane. Even though they already have sports stadiums. I went to university in a small city of 30,000 people. The local Tyson food factory was by far the biggest employer in the city. That's true. I don't know if I'd call it a city, 30,000. New York City, I mean, there's more people like in my block than that, but it's fine. The biggest employer in the city, some 4,000 employees. If a local law was brought up that Tyson wasn't a big fan of, shocking that law was never passed. If Tyson had the ability to do so, every bridge going into that city would be the Tyson Bridge. They would probably get to sponsor for free, given how much power the company had. Okay, they already have that power now. I don't know what you're talking about. They have that power now. If Tyson wants to sponsor all the bridges right now in that small town, they could do it. I don't know what you're talking about. It makes no sense what you're saying. If they wanted to do it right now, they could. Who would stop them? What if they wanted to name a bridge after the local Tyson manager, whoever that person is? Who would stop them? Nobody. They already have that power, my friend. How about instead you make it so instead, since the town's so small, how about you decide instead to get a bigger chunk of people who say, I don't know, want to put broadband in your town or your city? How about that? Maybe let them do it. Maybe once they do it, now Tyson has to bid for it. If Tyson's got to bid for it, it won't work. Because the reason why Tyson has power in your town is twofold. One, they have a large voting base. Clearly, a lot of people are going to vote what Tyson says because they're an employer. But they also have cash that they're giving out to people. What happens when someone else has cash to give out? That's called competition. Now, while competition is not always good, it's always better than monopoly. That I'm sure of. Competition is not always good, but it's always better than monopoly. I don't know what you're talking about. This means nothing. And for 30,000 people, you might not do this. This might be a statewide piece. I mean, try to use imagination here. If I've got a rural state where I don't have very large cities, West Virginia, for example, I don't think there's one city in West Virginia over 100,000 people. I don't think so. So if I've got a rural state like West Virginia, where most of my cities and towns are not very large, 100,000 or less, I think the highest is probably 50,000 or so. But anyway, it doesn't have many large cities. Then maybe it's a statewide deal then. You want to sponsor mega bridges? Maybe the bidding process of the state, and you get certain bridges or tunnels if you want to, and it may not work for every city or state. The problem is these guys can't understand that what I'm saying is voluntary. They keep thinking, well, you're forcing people. No, if it doesn't work for your town, don't do it. If it doesn't work for your state, don't do it. Will this work in New York City? 100% yes, no doubt. But New York City is an anomaly across the country. So it may not work the same way. It might need to be a statewide situation. Maybe you create a list of all your bridges and tunnels within West Virginia. You start doing a bidding process. Who gets what bridge? All done at the state level. This way, no local people like Tyson can take over. There's tons of ways of doing this. If you just stop thinking about, I have to force everyone into everything, and instead say, how do I make it work for the entire state? How do I make this work? How do I get what I need for my people, better service, without squeezing them anymore? We are squeezed like there's no tomorrow. And these guys just can't even imagine it. I'm surprised how, for many of them are relatively young, what a lack of imagination. So a real lack, sorry, of imagination. So let me keep grabbing here. Keith says, nobody likes thinking outside the box anymore. This is outside the box. I agree. Yes. Sam says, Larry's plan would sell naming rights to a bridge and help fund repairs. Good idea. Instead, the governor named it after his dad. Yes. And increased taxes and issued bonds to cover it. Pat. Yes. That's the alternative. Increase taxes and issue more bonds to get for more debt. That was his answer. Or put Pepsi on it or whoever. And that's a bad thing. I don't like seeing Pepsi, but you'd rather pay higher taxes and have more bonds and you see it as more debt and people leave so you can have customers. That's better because Pepsi makes you feel bad. Okay. I got it. I'm not there. Paula says, honestly, most of the socialists I know are socially inept sons of wealth. Ooh, I don't see that, but okay. Who have daddy issues and are self-loathing with advanced degrees. I do see that part. That I do. And I don't blame them for that. Right. And let me be clear. I have a soft spot for a lot of millennials, particularly, but people like that particularly. Because I mean specifically, I said particularly twice. I mean specifically. Because they've been told that if they just follow the rules and take the tests and pass the tests and get the degrees, that an awesome job will be waiting for them. And that was a lie. They were told a lie, promised a lie, and now it's coming to fruition. And many of them feel like the system doesn't work. And that's why they hate capitalism, because they thought it was a system that was supposed to work for them. It doesn't. We actually don't have capitalism. We have crony capitalism and semi-socialism, and just the worst. We have the worst parts of socialism and the worst parts of capitalism. We have the worst parts of both. So, of course, it doesn't work. The system is broken. That's why I'm looking for change. The difference is I'm not going towards the control change. I'm going towards the freedom change. But both agree. The one thing that Vaush and I agree completely on, the system's broken. Elites control it. Big corporations are bad and are hurting us and doing all types of bad things. And government's right with them holding hands. But he thinks we'll just somehow, I don't know how to take over the government, whatever, I guess somehow, and become socialists and motivate people or something, whatever, and pay more money. I'm like, no. We'll understand how the system actually works and change it so that people can still get what they want and pay for what they want and change a mindset. We just have different ways of looking at it, but we actually have the same enemy. So, all right. A lot of those stadium deals are 10-year agreements. Exactly. This is John. Exactly. I did my homework before I came up with this plan, right? I didn't just go, I have an idea. Let me pull this out of my ass. That's not what happened. Instead, I thought about it and I did some homework on it, and bankers talked to me and they were like, it has to be a 10-year deal. And one of the reasons why people don't realize this is when you change infrastructure, any infrastructure deal, if you're doing an infrastructure deal, it takes time for society to change. We're finding it here in New York, right? The bridge, the 59th Street Bridge in New York was changed to the Ed Koch Bridge. Most people don't even know that. Some people still call it the 59th Street Bridge. Culture takes time to change, right? The Triborough Bridge is now called the RFK Bridge. Some people still call it that, some don't, but it's changing, it's shifting. More people are calling it RFK Bridge now, and it's been years. It takes time for society the culture to change the name of it, right? It's faster now than ever because many people are using Google Maps or they're using some form of, something on their phone, and literally it announces, go now to RFK Bridge. So they're even getting that if it's now the Google Bridge or the Pepsi Bridge or something. So they want it to be 10 years so they can actually take advantage of it. And they know that if it's a 10-year deal, while the first couple years they may not get much bang for the buck, the 8 in between they'll get a lot, and they'll still get some residuals even after, as the next name is starting to change. So yes, that's true. They are usually 10 years. So that was we already thinking about that already. Yes. So Thoughts on paying for infrastructure with a shift from property tax to land value capture. Friedman called it least bad tax, undercut speculation. The ideas of the land taxes, I don't think that people we're ready for anything even close to that, tell you the truth. I don't think we are. It's not where we are. I would shift on that one. We're not ready for the land tax. We're just not ready for it. Is it Georgism is the other idea behind that? So yeah, I don't think we're ready for it at all. I don't. So Joshua says, I've had my state senator reply to me that what he's doing is approved by the ballot. Oh, okay. He told me that if the state senate approved a state income tax, it wouldn't have to be approved by ballot initiative. This guy's audacity. I'm doing everything I can to get him out of office now. Yeah, you have no choice. You voted and you hope. Yes. John says, lawsuit filed here in Florida because Bang Bros, the porno company, won the bid for naming rights for the arena where the Miami Heat and Florida Panther play out. Bang Brothers is saying Broward County did not do what's in the interest of the taxpayers when awarding the highest bidder. If they win, we'll have a Bang Brothers arena. That's amazing. Wow, that's amazing. Wow. That is amazing. So that's where the Miami Heat and Florida Panthers. How much money is that company? God, that porn makes that much money. Maybe I'm in the wrong business. Take my shirt off or something. Anyway, wow. Okay, I'm in the wrong business, John. That's amazing. I don't care if it's Bang Brothers. I don't care. I'm being forward with you. If that's a way for the people of Broward County, and I'm not sure it is, because this is, again, this is some kind of hybrid deal. I'm not sure if the people are going to save any money on it. But if this is a bridge or something and people are saving money, great. You go over the Bang Brothers bridge, but you don't pay a toll, and now owner operators don't have to pay that toll when they're trying to move their truck across the bridge so they can make some extra money. I'm in. I'm not fighting it. Absolutely. So, all right. James says, I'm cool with sales tax because of income tax. Sales tax is a better tax. I agree. But again, we're not accustomed to it. This is a cultural issue too. And people get mad at me. Some of the comments were, he's always talking about cultural issues. That's not a real answer. It's a super answer. People don't change if it's not within their culture. They'll just go, I'm going to change everything tomorrow. Culture matters. Culture is how you move people, right? If it's against someone's culture, the odds of them agreeing to it and voting for it or accepting it go down. You want to move culture. That's what it's all about. If you just go, well, we're just going to do this thing. Well, now you have rebellion. I don't want rebellion. I would like people to agree. Yes. Larry Sharpe for King. I appreciate, but I would with respect decline your nomination. With respect, I decline your nomination. I'm flattered though. I do appreciate that. Yes. Paula says you hit some nerves with Vaush, Larry. Maybe. I hope so. I wanted people to think. Jimmy says most people don't know how the system actually works. Very true. They don't. Absolutely. They don't. Many don't know. And it's okay. I'm not mad at them for it. I expected a lot of this also. I really did expect that. Yes. So Joshua says, you're quoting Marx. Under no pretext should arms and ammunition be surrendered. Any attempt to disarm the people must be stopped by force if necessary. Karl Marx. Yep. Absolutely. Yes. Escaping the echo chamber. Thank you, Aaron. They're finding out AOC isn't their heroine. They thought she was. She's a careerist and is concerned about keeping her job and moving up in the Democratic Party. I would say they're disappointed. I do think the jury's still out on AOC. I'm not as cynical as many are. I think the jury's still out. And I still hope that she can be turned into a better way. I don't think, this is my opinion again, you'll take it any way you want. I don't think AOC actually thinks socialism is a good idea. I think she thinks it's the best answer out there. If we could show her a better way, she could come our way. It's not going to be easy, but if we could show her a better way, she can come our way. I think she wants success too for people. I just think she thinks socialism is the only answer. The question is, does she get so tainted with power and doing the cool stuff that she doesn't want to come back into the regular world? So, yes. James says, hi, Larry. I'm glad you debated Vaush. I didn't debate him. He called it a debate. I didn't call it. I just had a conversation. I didn't want to debate. I don't want to have a winner or a loser. I was happy with the conversation. Most of my people thought I won. Most of his people thought he won, and which we knew was going to happen anyway. I mean, that's usually the thing. And I just wanted to have a talk, and I'm happy it was a talk. If he wants to say he won, great. I lost. No worries. Let's have a conversation again. And he can beat me the second time. Beat me every time he wants. He has a big audience, and I'm glad you challenged him through a civil dialogue. Yes, that's true. We did challenge each other through a civil dialogue. That's true. Perhaps you converted some of them. I hope so. I'll take anyone I can get. Absolutely. Yes. People believe this garbage. God, it's painful to talk to socialists. But we have to, Lyndon, because the country is filled with people who think this is the right answer. And I don't want to fight them. I want them to join us. I think we have to talk to them. Otherwise, I mean, the issue that I see here, one thing I'll mention I see here, that also I see constantly is most people on the right, when they're angry at me, come at me. Like, you're wrong, you're evil, you're mean, whatever it is, come at me. I'm stupid, whatever. Most people on the left dismiss me. That's a common thing. So it's actually a whole lot easier to talk to the right because they want to fight. So they're easier to talk to. The left will often just ignore me, just dismiss you. You see this, oh, he's stupid, he's this, he's another libertarian. They're very much dismissive. It's hard for me to talk when you're dismissive. So, yes, that's why I'm happy to talk to socialists, because they're hard to talk to. Very often, you will see them just dismiss me and not want to talk at all. Let me grab a couple more if I can. Let's see. Libertarians are annoying. They understand the problem with society. They just ignore the root cause. What's the root cause, Matthew? Is the root cause maybe bad government? Could it be that? And G. Will says, no, they're flat earthers. That's what it is. We're all flat earthers. That's it. So if they understood the problems, they would understand the cause. They are promoting an ideology that is as a reaction to facts. Okay, I don't know where he goes for that. He's just making this stuff up. He's just angry. I got it. Okay. One says, Vaush libertarian. The other guy is a right libertarian. So I'm a right libertarian, I guess. It's a common mistake, though. No biggie. The right have pretty successfully hijacked the term, which is very unfortunate. That's accurate. He's correct. Many Republicans have taken over that term. That's true. That's actually good. He's right. He's right. And then Benda is joking, and she goes, nah, dude. Pepsi Bridge will solve everybody's problems. What are you talking about? You're right. It will. Thank you for that. Yes, absolutely. So, this neo-feudalism thing keeps popping up also all the time. We got one more. Wayward says, right off the bat, the libertarian forgets that advertising expenses, which his naming rights scheme is tax deductible for corporation, and so is his proposed system, transfers the financial burden back to the taxpayers. Wow, yet again, very stupid. That one's just stupid. That's not naive. That's just stupid. That's not naive. That's really stupid. It's their marketing budget already. Nothing changes. Nothing changes. It's the marketing budget. Whatever taxes they pay on their current marketing budget, they'll now pay on this. If that's zero, they'll pay zero. If it's a lot, it's a lot. It's what it is. Nothing changes. Luckily, some people, I'm going to tell them how dumb he is. That's just some guy being, I'm mad, and I'm going to show this guy that I know stuff. You don't know anything. You've embarrassed yourself yet again. A lot of these guys, if people from outside the echo chamber read this, will be like, holy crap, they're dumb. They don't know anything, do they? It's really, some of them have said things that are really, really bad, that are just demonstrably wrong. And what I love about it, the thing that I really enjoyed, it's going to sound so bad, but I really enjoyed it, was the way they said it with such confidence and such disdain. This guy's like, what this dummy doesn't know is I'm going to say something even stupider. Yeah, this guy doesn't know. Just insanely dumb. So yes. Let's see if I can keep going here. Oh, this was cute. Guys, the debate was as refreshing as a cool can of Pepsi. Look at that. That's a nice one. I do like that. Yes. And someone says, define American culture. Take Chick-fil-A Way to Pepsi Bridge, turn down Netflix Boulevard, all the way to Procter & Gamble Square, and you'll see Macy's. Well, the only problem is you won't see Macy's. They'll be out of business. But all the rest, that's correct. And I would ask you, some random dude, that's his name, what is your answer then? Yeah, crickets. You don't have one. You have stuff is bad, America's bad, capitalism bad, and we got to do stuff. That's what you have. I have an actual plan. And if you don't like Pepsi, Bridge, or Chick-fil-A, well, then maybe you should start voting in some people who have some actual answers. Maybe you should do that instead. Or just yell about, I guess, what you're yelling about, whatever it is, and have no answers. I don't want people to struggle. Now they're struggling. Your answer doesn't solve the problem. It doesn't. So, Cave Cat says the vote with your dollar argument was destroyed for me when I discovered fair trade coffee costs a few cents more to make, but are sold for almost twice as much from a price discrimination. Like they are just playing on your sympathy to milk you for more money when they could easily have made all coffee fair trade basically the exact same price. So because a company fooled you, now this doesn't work? Are you still buying the coffee? If you're still buying the coffee, you're right. If you stop buying the coffee, you're wrong. Are you still buying the coffee that's doubled in price or whatever? And the second thing is, do you actually know that that's true? Or did someone tell you that? How do you know what they have to pay now? If their specific coffee is different, it may be different in many other ways, meaning it can't travel in the ways that other coffees travel because it may be different. Maybe rules or regulations or laws that make it more expensive. Do you know if that's true? No, you're just mad. And now it doesn't work because your coffee was too expensive. Okay, here's what I know for a fact. See it all the time. Across New York State, prior to COVID, I don't know if it's still going to be true afterwards, many New Yorkers would spend an extra $1 or $2 for a locally brewed beer because they wanted to. And that kept many breweries rocking and rolling here in New York State because New Yorkers said, I care. I like it that it's local. I like the taste. I like it, so I'm paying for it. Common. No one forces them. They don't have to. There's no law. They do it voluntarily. They vote with their dollar, literally. There are people I know who won't go to Walmart. They won't go. They'll buy local. They would rather pay more. Happens all the time. I do it myself, by the way. I never go to Walmart. So I literally will pay more on purpose because I'm not going to Walmart. That's just me. You don't have to. It's voluntary. Go to Walmart if you want to. I'm not saying you shouldn't. I don't know where you live. I don't know what's available. And I want you to live your life to the best of your ability. Please go where you want to go. I live in a city. I don't have to do that. So I don't. So that's voluntary. It's on me. I've chosen to pay more. That's fine. I have a right to my money. And you can do what you want. See, actually, you are voting with your dollar, aren't you? As am I. So imagine how dystopian it would be if you want a bridge with Amazon logos embellished all over it. What a wonderful world. Or how dystopian it is now. How about that? Where literally we have so many New Yorkers right now, and Americans in general. I say New Yorkers all the time because I know New York so well, but across the country, who literally have food insecurities. Food insecure right now. Who can't put $500 together. If they go more than $500 in debt, they're done for. But you think dystopian is a bridge with Amazon and Blazon. That's dystopian? Oh my God. How much do you hate commerce? Do none of you guys have jobs? Does this bother you? Does this bother you that says Sharpe Way on it? How dare he put Sharpe Way on the show? Does this bother you that I've got branding on my show? You don't have to watch. Please watch. I want you to watch. Please watch. But you don't have to. I hope you're not angry that I put it on there. Wow, that's dystopian. I've seen much. I lived in the South Bronx in the 70s. I know what dystopian is. I know what that is. Anyway, let me move on. All right. Let's see if I can keep doing this here. All of the ANCAP arguments are, I'm not an ANCAP, never was. You keep saying that. We can't do anything inconvenient, big business, rich people, because they're very powerful, and therefore we should give them more power. Never said that at all, Bassy boy. You made that up because you're not paying attention. Exactly. And this guy, Huge Seeker, says, ANCAP here. None of us would say that. Thank you. In fact, we think the government should stop subsidizing them. Exactly, my friend. Yes. They guys just talking trash. Oh, man, I'm going to talk stuff. Jeremy, though, was nice to me. He says, I actually really like this guy, Larry Sharpe, because he was an honest actor. That's true. That's true. You can disagree with me and think I'm wrong, but I was honest. He was generally open to entertaining presumptions that Vaush, I'm sorry, Vaush, sorry, presented and was willing to accept he might not know things. He was also not hiding his positions. That's true. I'm always open. And he was willing to try to defend his positions. I'd like to see more libertarians with this amount of generosity in conversation. Yay! I got some good ones too. See, not everyone hated me. Not too bad. I appreciate that. Let me grab some more hours here if I can. Let's see. Paula says, yes, I agree. Worst parts of both. Yes. Matthew says, we don't have the worst parts of socialism yet. They haven't started building the gulags yet. Yeah, that's true. Not yet. We're on our way. Yes, we are on our way to that one. Absolutely. Yes. That's very good. Yes. That's good. Bernard says, I don't understand socialists. Why would you get rid of corporations? What about all the jobs that could be, or the corporations that could be started by little people? There is an issue. There is an issue that I think many people don't see or aren't concerned about. They don't mind government being the massive job creator. They're okay with it. I'm not, clearly. I think it's an unhealthy market environment. I do want government. I'm not against government jobs. And if you have one, good on you. I'm glad you're getting paid. I hope you're getting paid well. I hope you're living a good life. But I just think we have too many of them. I think now it's 1 in 7. Is that right? 1 in 7, 1 in 6 Americans now works for the government. If you count people who are on government contracts, it's more like 1 in 6, 1 in 5, something like that. It's a huge chunk. And if we keep going where we're going, was it February or January? Our new jobs, we have 50,000 new jobs in the country, and 40,000 were government jobs. 10,000 were private sector jobs. If we keep doing that, we're going to have a spot where 25% of our population works for the government, either directly or indirectly. You can't have a healthy market that way. It can't work. You're going to begin to collapse. So, I think they believe that's fine. Government just make jobs. If you listen to modern monetary theory, it's just, the government spends more money whenever there's no jobs. Just spend more money and make jobs. And that's it. We just do that. Ad infinitum. Repeat. Yes. So anyway, all right, see if I can do this here. Grab a couple more. Well, no offense, Larry. When some of my fellow millennials went and got degrees in nonsense like gender studies, they can't really be surprised when they can't find a career. I don't take offense to that, Ro, but they weren't told that, right? And their environment didn't encourage this. Many people, how do you blame someone realistically? How do you blame someone realistically when their parents told them it was okay, their guidance counselor told them it was okay, their friends told them it was okay, everybody said it was okay. It was the right move. Just get the good grades and there'll be a job for you. And they went and they did it. And when they were doing gender studies or whatever the case may be, they were told, this is great. You need to know this stuff. And the colleges teach all degrees, treat them all that they're all critical. They're all going to get you a job. They're not. Not against a gender studies degree. Please enjoy. If you think if that's motivating for you and you enjoy it and it matters to you, please do that. Good on you. But you should just be forward. People should be forward and go, this may not get you a job. Or if it will get you a job, it'll be in this field. And if it's not where you want to go, you might change your mind. The sad part is I'll be willing to bet that no one's telling them this. I know my daughter is looking at colleges now, and I see what they're saying. They don't care what college she goes to. Just go to college. They don't care what you get it in. Just go to college. Why? Federal funds. That's why. State funds. That's why. Schools are judged heavily high schools are judged heavily based upon what percentage of kids go to college. It doesn't matter what college. It doesn't matter if they get a job later. It doesn't matter if they graduate or not. That doesn't matter. They go to college. So if your kid is happy being a plumber, that's a failure for the school. I'm not joking, guys. If you're in a school district, you know what I'm talking about. That's how it works. So your kid leaves high school, becomes a plumber, is happy. Good on you, plumber, or goes build houses. Awesome. She's happy. Go ahead, do your thing. That's a failure for the high school. You have to go to college for the high school to be successful. That's how they're judged. They act accordingly. And they have an environment accordingly. So now everyone thinks if I go to college, magic happens. It's not magic. So of course they're upset. And then of course they have massive college debt. Why do they have massive college debt? All these people talking about the root of the problem. What's the root of that problem? First one, the federal government, of course, for making them go to college through controlling the schools through money. But then the second thing is because the money's free. The government is backing all the loans. So what is their answer now? Free college. How could that work? How can that make it better? When has making something free made it better? I mean, maybe it has. I can't think of any time when making something free made it better. Higher quality because it's free. Now, what's your recourse? What if you get a terrible degree? Are you going to sue them? For what? You didn't pay anything. Now there's no recourse. Now your college experience can be complete garbage. And no recourse. Yes. So, anyway, we'll move on. So, the White Sox still playing Comiskey Park. Yeah, so it takes time. Absolutely. Yes. 100%. Yes. Or if you're really wealthy, you New York Yankees, you just keep your own name. That's it. Because you're very wealthy. You just keep your own name. So, crony capitalism is fascism. That's true. Very good. Absolutely true. It's a valid point. We are having trouble here. Not wanting to be a king is why you make a great king. Thank you, Michael. Because you would not rule the people. You let people live. That's true. I would. That's exactly correct. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Yes. That's very good. So, all right. Let's see if I could. Let's see here. Dan says he doesn't understand that what those companies call expenses is them paying a person to do a job. That's the whole point. Yes, absolutely. Let's keep going. I have a couple more here I want to grab here if I can. All right. Mercedes says, Vaush, so that wouldn't work because, Larry, you are correct and also needs to defend his point. What does it keep alternating between attacking and then just justifying his own idea? I'm so confused. I know you're confused, Mercedes, and I apologize for that. The reason why I kept agreeing with him is twofold. One, because we do agree with the problem, right? If someone, generally speaking, if it's a left-right fight, generally speaking, and again, I'm painting with a broad brush. The left will say things have never been good. We've got to make them better. The right will say things used to be good, but they'll do now. Leave them alone. So now they're not agreeing that there's a problem or how the problem even exists. They're not agreeing with that. To be forward, Vaush and I agreed on the problems. We're simpatico on the problems. We both want corporations to pay more. We both don't like big government. We both want people to be happier. We both want the poor and the marginalized people to get better service. We're on the same page there. So when he says the things he says, I agree. We also agree with the startup. Here's how it happened. Here's the way the problem began. We're on the same page. Yes, absolutely. Where we differed was the solution, which is why as he was talking, I go, yeah, you're right. I'm in. That's true. 100%. And now my answer is different than yours. That's why I agreed often, because there were many things we totally agreed upon, no doubt. And some of his argument was what you're saying is difficult or can't work because of this thing. And I was going, you're right. That's why I did something else. So that's why I would say he's correct. It's hard, but then explain how I got around the hard part. Because unlike what some of your other friends thought, I thought this through and I ran a 1.5-year campaign in New York State and was attacked by the media every day. So I've already gone through these issues and had all the questions already asked. I know how to answer them already. So that's why it looked that way. I do apologize if that wasn't clear. I wasn't trying to confuse you. I apologize if I did. So Noble Noburu says, this has got to be the most logical libertarian I've ever heard in a long while. Oh, nice. Don't agree with most of his positions, but at least it makes you think and reassess your positions because it's not as outrageous as the others. Well, that was nice. That was something good. So yeah. So now, people hate the Pepsi Bridge, though. They hate the Pepsi Bridge. I don't know why. Yes. I think it's so good. I think the Pepsi Bridge is so amazing. So you'd rather have a bridge named after a dead guy. Way better. This named after a dead guy. That's good. Let's do that. A dead politician. So Diego Sanchez says, Larry Sharpe looked at the state of the advertisement and thought, you know what we need? More ads. No. You know what I said? Well, you know, we need less taxes. And then Bob says, I mean, yeah, if it means less taxes. Yes. Thank you, Bob. Yes. Absolutely. Yes. Well done. Yes. And then Diego says, you don't need less taxes. You need to make your government spend your tax money better. How's that been working, Diego? What planet do you live on? Do you live on Earth or you live someplace else? Are you in America? Do you know how bad our government spends money? Do you know how terrible we are at that? And what's getting better? What are you going to do? Yell at them? 90% of our Congress people get elected, reelected every single year, even though the actual the actual rate that people think the actual I'm sorry, I've lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. In polling, maybe Congress gets an 11% approval rating in polling, maybe 11%. Yet 90% or more of all Congress people are reelected every 2 years. 90%. How are you going to make them change it? Gerrymandering, the Supreme Court thinks gerrymandering is fine. How are you going to change that? What are you going to change the Constitution? You know how hard that is? I don't know what planet you're on, man. I don't know what planet you're on. So, anyway, that will save you more money than a tax cut without a corporate dystopia. I love that. Everything corporate's dystopia. If it's corporate, it's dystopia. But the actual dystopia that we're walking towards now, that's fine. Gulags, that's not dystopia. Cops deciding that if you don't, cops arresting people if you don't do what they say. I spoke to a younger socialist earlier this week, a younger guy, probably in his early 20s. And I was asking him, how are you going to do this? What are you going to do? And he goes, well, you know, Amazon, we just got to take Amazon. That's too big of a company. We got to take it. I said, okay, you're going to take Amazon? He went, yeah, take Amazon. I said, okay. So when you take Jeff Bezos' company, does he get to keep the wealth that he has now? Or does he have to lose that too? Does he just lose his company and he keeps his wealth? Or he loses it all? And he went, well, we'll negotiate with him on how much he can keep. And I was like, wow, okay. You can negotiate with him on how much of his own money he can keep. All right. I said, all right, so when that happens, what if Jeff Bezos says, no, you don't get my company, you don't get my money? No. What if he says no? Well, he'll have to. What if he says no? Well, we'll make him. So jail, prison? He was like, yep, prison. So in this world, that's not a corporate dystopia. Jeff Bezos goes to prison, loses all of his assets, just take it. And I said, well, when you do that, his executive team is probably not going to want to work with you. Well, they have to. Well, they're not going to want to. They're either going to leave and sort of a competition, or they're going to go to the country or something. No, they have to work. So if they don't work, it's work or go to prison. He went, yeah. So half of them go to prison. He's like, yeah. This is not dystopia? This is not dystopia? Okay. I got it. So, all right. The government made people choose to buy at Walmart by destroying the entrepreneurial spirit. I'm not sure what he's saying by that, but no, I think the government supported Walmart by providing, by not having Walmart provide anything for their people, instead of government did it. So government just supported Walmart. I think that's what it is. It's a partnership, isn't it? Am I missing something? It's a partnership. So yes. Here, if you've ever seen the movie Idiocracy, that's basically what ANCOPs want the U.S. to turn into. I love that idea. Many of them were talking about that. You know, it's idiocracy. That's what it is. He wants idiocracy. So you saw a movie. It had some idea that I thought of, and now that's the future. I saw a movie that had your idea in it. It was called 1984. You more scared of mine or yours? I'm more scared of yours. We both saw a movie that had our ideas in it. Yours is scarier than mine. Mine's a comedy. It's a joke. 1984? And that was real. Just saying. Yes. So this man really wants large companies who put profit above all else, including the health care of their own employees, to be trusted with funding our infrastructure. No. Do you understand how they just don't get it? They're just making a deal. They dropped billions of dollars in advertising already. No, I'm not having companies do this. I'm just saying, I want you to write a check. I can either put a gun to your head and say, give me more taxes, in which case you will rebel in some way, shape, or form, or I can give you something of value so you voluntarily fund this for us. This is not rocket science. It's pretty much, do you want to force, or do you want to allow someone to do what they want? So, yeah. Another insult. This man sounds like if New York City was a person. Well, because I'm from New York City. So, yeah, I'm okay with that. I'm not insulted that I'm from New York City. Yeah, I'm from New York City. It's where I'm from. If you're from whatever, California, West Virginia, Florida, good for you. I hope you sound like that state too. Nice. Okay. Yeah, I love this. The short-sightedness of this guy. I hate monopolies. The government's a monopoly, so let's get rid of it. It's not what I said. Don't get rid of government. I literally said I didn't want to. Let's ignore that the only way monopolies and cartels are ever broken up is by the government. Yeah, but it doesn't work, does it? They broke up all the phone companies just to create a cartel system. So it went from one to another. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, silly. What if that's true? What broke up the car industries? What broke up the other? I mean, other small businesses came up and began to do better things. Happens all the time. So, yes. And of course, Space Case says, Larry, let's let Pepsi own a bridge so they can advertise. Not what I said at all, but they can't even comprehend what I'm talking about. The idea of and I get this constantly, the idea of leasing a naming right. And it's difficult. And I know it is, because people who aren't business savvy will often struggle with that idea. They only understand the idea of buying and selling. They don't understand the concept of leasing out rights. That's not a thing that many people understand. So if you don't get business, it can become odd. Like, what do you mean? What's that? Privatization? Not what I'm saying. You're going to give them a bridge? Not what I'm saying. They're going to buy a bridge? Not what I'm saying. They get to put their name on the bridge and they lease it. You screw up, you lose a lease, you front load the payments, they can't screw you over. Not magic. Done all the time and other things every day of the week. So yes. So I wonder if ANCAPs just live in an echo chamber. Yeah, maybe you do, Belial, because I'm not an ANCAP, wasn't one. And I'm outside of the echo chamber because I'm talking to you. You're not talking to me, I'm talking to you. I think you're in the echo chamber, but it's fine. Where they're told their ridiculous ideas are great. Wow. Pot, meat, kettle. Yes. I love it. Yes. And of course, the best part is, as you go down, they're like, yeah, he's right. But one person actually said, it's a good faith debate. Yeah. What's wrong with that? I love that. And one person says, it's better than mindless yelling. Yeah, there was some good stuff here too. I love this. Yes. So the man is such a capitalist, he ends agreement with, I'd buy that. I think that was supposed to be an insult. I'm not insulted, Stephen. I'm sorry. I'm not insulted by it. I know you're trying to insult me. It didn't work. Yes. So looking forward to crossing the Penn's undergarment bridge on my next visit to New York City. I hope you do, my friend. I hope you do. Because if you have to look at somebody wear a diaper compared to people having a bad life, look at a diaper. Suck it up. Look at a diaper. People wear diapers. They want to buy diapers. Good. Suck it up, man. That's what I have to say. 100%. So, I'm really happy with it. Yes. I'm not upset about that. I'm not upset at all about this. Okay. Let's see if I can keep going down here. This guy's debate tactic at saying yes every time Vaush made a point is unironically extremely very effective. Yeah, because I'm not mad at him. I'm not telling him he's wrong. Yeah. It takes the punch out of his arguments and made it his own. Very impressive. Oh, someone liked my style, I guess, but I'm not fighting. I'm just, And one guy goes, it's making a shit argument look good. No, dude, you just don't get it. You don't get it. You don't understand my world at all. You don't understand my world. You only understand yours. Yes. So, Karen says, now you say yes when I make a point, please. See, what's wrong with that? We can all say yes together. I like that. Yes. This other person, Angelo, says, not really. It makes Vaush look better, in my opinion. Nothing. I think it's nice. I think it works. So, yeah. Lol. Bob says, Larry Sharpe never even advertised this, treated this as a debate on his channel. He's just a super nice guy who tries to find common ground. Oh, someone knows. He's right. I didn't. I don't want to debate. He's totally correct. That is nice. Yes. The ultimate libertarian utopian is a bunch of hermits living in the wild, screeching at each other as they pass by. No, that's what happens when you have socialism. That's the end game of socialism. You could ask North Korea, they would tell you that because that's what they are right now. So I think you got that wrong a little bit. I think you've kind of missed that a little bit. Yeah, a little bit, 100%. And then the idiocracy piece, a lot of that, yes. So, excuse me. Texas just gave us a great example of what happens when you think like this guy. Texas screw up was completely because of government. That was a monopolistic government. That's not true. He's just made that up again. A lot of people making stuff up. That's definitely a big deal. Let me grab some more of our comments if I could. I'm glad you guys are still. I'm glad you're interested in this. I think it's good. Dan says capitalism is your right to own a business. How does that cause so many problems? And why do you want to give up the choice to be your own boss? Yep. I mean, it says these people have no idea what we already have streets named after corporations. Yes. 100%. It's already there. Absolutely. I hate corporations so much that seeing a logo is dystopian. Yes, Lyndon, that's true. Seeing the logo is dystopian. I'm looking at a logo. Oh my God, I'm dying. Yes, absolutely. I love that. Ban logos? Sure. More Orwell, ignorance is strength. It is. 1984, Dan. What I was bringing up. Yes, absolutely. Larry, to be fair, some of what you say is straight out of ANCAP philosophy. That's true. Yes. Because sometimes they're right. I'm picking whatever's going to work. I'm not anti-ANCAP at all. I'm just not one. But some things they're saying work. So why wouldn't I use it? Right? I'm not an objectivist, but some things they say work. Right? I'm going to take whatever's going to work that gives me the freest, most realistic plan I can make that is as free as possible. And if that means I'm adding ANCAP stuff, okay, I'm in. I'm adding objectivist stuff, I'm in. Whatever's going to work. Yes. So it doesn't make you one, but ANCAP is two things they hate: no government and capitalism. It's the worst slur. That's true. That's like ANCAP is like, is that the N word for libertarians? Is that what that is? It's the worst one. I shouldn't say I'm getting in trouble now. So yes, that's very good. Yes. Let's see. Jim says there is Guantanamo. That's a gulag. You're right. We do have one gulag. We got one, Jim. That's right. Let's hope no more. Yes, absolutely. I don't understand why socialists don't go to the border and ask the people coming here why they're fleeing socialism. Maybe you might learn something. The people on the border aren't fleeing that. The people who come here via airplane are. People coming from the border are fleeing our terrible policies in Central America. They're fleeing our terrible drug war, all those issues. But the people, most undocumented workers or illegal immigrants, however you want to title it, most of them are actually people who are overstaying visas. Those people are leaving socialist countries. People at the border are leaving, drug wars and stuff like that. A different issue. But I get your point. Point still taken. Yes. So, I was told that degrees didn't matter as long as you have one. Most people are told that. And as a general rule, depends on what you want to achieve, right? If you're looking to just get a job, sometimes that's true. But now, even that doesn't matter. Most people are looking for what you've done in the last 10 years. Those two things is what matters, right? Those two things are the most important thing. They hope that if everyone's employed by the government, they'll have a job stability of a government job. But what they don't see is that some of those jobs are not as stable as maybe they once were when the government was smaller. Also true, Dan. Yes, people in the government also get laid off. It does happen. It is, in theory safer, but yeah, yes. In series it is. In theory it is. Yes. Getting rid of government monopoly is a good idea. 100%. Monopoly's bad, and so is government. Dystopia. You keep using that word. I don't know. I don't know. I do not think it means what you think it means. Yes, the Princess Bride. Exactly right. Yes, 100%. Not protecting IP laws usually helps break up monopolies. Yes, but who defends IP protections? Government. Very valid point. Right. Very valid point. Yes, absolutely. That's another way of doing it. Right. Changing your intellectual property laws, because most people make their money on intellectual property. It's a whole different issue. Yes. Lila says they're obviously not comprehending. It's basically quite a blessing to be able to apply economic logic to voting logic. The best way, the Sharpe way. Thank you. And the Lila way. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Awesome. That's great. Yes. All right. See if I can grab a couple more. The UMPC is a hospital chain in Pittsburgh. They have tax exempt status. Some people want these hospitals to start paying taxes because our taxes pay for the roads that lead to the hospitals. I said no. Let them pay for the roads. That way, the healthcare isn't made more expensive to pay for the taxes. Yes. So smart. Oh, wow. That was so direct. I didn't get it. You're just let them pay for the roads. Yes. I love that. Yes. So let them just pay for the roads. I love that. And they can sponsor it too. It's a certain hospital road. It can be the UPMC highway. I love your idea. I love that. There we go. Yes. I love that idea. Well done. That's really good, Gene. Thank you so much for that. I do appreciate that. Yes. Brennan says, all the haters probably want to throw people in jail for using drugs and then get all mad when they find out government is wasting tax dollars and picking on certain groups of people that use drugs. Yes, absolutely. Yes. I'm going to have a couple more of these if I can. Let's see here. Lucas says, he's just so good at listing symptoms and dodging the systemic root. I don't understand why so many people thought that when I was specifically addressing the root. Maybe my communication to socialists wasn't that good. Clearly it wasn't. I've got to work on this. I have to talk to more socialists. I'm clearly not, my ideas are not getting past their biases. They have so many biases against anyone with the title libertarian that I'm not getting through. It's clear that my communication has to change. I'm not doing a good enough job. Yeah. I've got to do better on this one. So, let's see. Inject this straight to the vein. I've been suffering major withdrawal since Sam Cedar hasn't debated libertarian in a while. Sam Cedar won't talk to me. I've reached out to him a couple times. He won't. He doesn't want to talk to me. He wants somebody he can yell at, and that's it. So I don't know. We're doing it. Robert says, seriously, one of the best and enjoyable combos I've ever heard from any channel. Wow. Look at, we're doing good here. Common different ideas that I haven't considered. Nice. Another person. I appreciate the civil tone and good faith demonstrated here. Thanks to both speakers. Wow. I'm doing good. Wow. I'm glad this stayed pretty civil. It's rare that Vaush has a chance to have a genuine conversation with someone who does significantly different but reasonable. Look at that. I'm good. This is a really good faith conversation. You gotta love. I love that. I'm doing good. I'm winning. I love that. There we go. I'm allergic to commercials and advertising. Just listen to this guy sent me to the hospital. Now I'm losing my house because of medical debt. Thanks, Vaush. I don't get that. I missed that. I guess that was a joke. I don't know. While he's missing something very obvious, he was relatively respectful. Didn't really talk over him. That's not nothing. Most of these end up being unwatchable for that reason. Oh, that's nice. I love that. Yes. Here we go. Yes. I like that. Oh, good. Wow, an actual conversation. I really enjoyed this. I like that. This is good. This is okay. I had some good ones. Okay, so it was no bad. See, we had some good ones too. I appreciate that one. We had some good ones on top of it. Not all bad. I love that. So Candle Jack says, Larry, to them, the root problem is capitalism. I think you hit something right there, Candle Jack. You're right. If you don't agree with that, you're ignoring the root. Yes, absolutely. Joe says, I haven't talked to more socialists, Larry Sharpe. I guess this means Larry's running for governor again. No matter what, I have talked to more socialists. They're more popular. And they're all popular, and they're still growing. Socialists aren't going away. They are absolutely growing. And I want to keep talking to them. I believe that most socialists have decided that socialism is the best answer they can find. I want to show them that there's a better answer. That's what I want. That's it. Paula says, oh, you communicated well, Larry. They did an economics education. But still, I need to work on that. Do you believe in voluntary socialism, like someone starting a company owned by workers? 100%. Yes, we talked about it. If you want to see the show, you can watch it. I put the link in the show description if you want to watch the actual debate. It's about 2 hours long. But yeah, I 100%, CJ. Look, the issue that we have with worker co-ops is one, there aren't that many of them. So there isn't that much data in America. And most of the finance industry doesn't believe they'll work. So they don't get financed, right? And most businesses need to be financed. So most won't get financed. That's a cultural issue. Now, his people laughed at me when I said cultural issues, but that matters. Cultural issues matter. If the finance world says they're not going to work, they're not going to get financed. But if the finance world sees some successes, they'll go, oh, well, finance, you'll have more worker co-ops. So that's the first thing. The second thing is you got to decide, how do you make this thing work? My assumption is, and I could be wrong here, that it won't work in every field. That certain fields it'll be better, and certain fields it'll be worse. That's my assumption, because different business models work better in different areas, right? Flat organizations work better in some, where more hierarchical work better in others. So my assumption is that there'll be certain fields that it'll work better in. When we have more data on that, we'll know, hey, if I'm doing this of a business, worker co-op, that's the answer. It's going to work here. In this one, probably going to fail. So I think we need more data on this, but I'm totally open to it. Absolutely. I'm even okay with the idea of giving them special employee benefits because they're employees/owners. So making a slight advantage if you're going to give ownership to your workers. I don't mind that concept at all. I haven't thought out the details of that, obviously, but I'd even be okay with something like that. If we want to, try to test it and see if it'll work, as long as I'm not taking a company over or forcing someone to do it, it's fine. I don't even mind encouraging it. I wish more workers had an ownership mindset. And if that would make more people have an ownership mindset, I'm in 100%. No problem at all. I'm happy talking about it. I'm happy supporting it. Yes, yes, and yes. 100%. Yes. People don't understand how few roads the government builds. In new construction, the town demands the builder builds the roads and improve the surrounding infrastructure. Our new home communities often need new stoplights, bridge repairs, and road realignments before people can move in. Yes. Socialists need to go away. Thank you, Maria. I'm wearing your hoodie, by the way. This, by the way, was a gift. Maria gave me this gift a couple years back. I wear it constantly. Look, it's all worn out. I love it so much. My favorite hoodie of all time. Maria, thank you so much for it. As always, I wear it often. But they're not going away, Maria, and they're our neighbors. They're our friends. They're our family. They're our neighbors. And we need to talk with them. I don't want to fight the left. I don't want to fight the right. I want to turn them all. I really do. I want to turn all of them. I absolutely do. Socialism versus libertarianism will become the new culture war. No, I don't think so. No. Libertarianism isn't a culture war right now. It really isn't. It's really socialism. It's really left authoritarianism versus right authoritarianism right now. That's really what it is. Libertarians aren't actually in the fray right now. I want us to be. But we're not in the fray right now. So yes. So, all right. I think REI is a worker co-op, but I could be wrong. There are a couple of them, and there are also co-op models that aren't exactly co-ops, like, for example, credit unions, right? They're similar, but not the same. Co-ops, when it comes to apartment buildings, again, similar, but not the same. But that's another issue, right? If you look at what CJ is talking about, most of the time you look at co-ops versus condos, most individual people prefer the condo and not the co-op. That also makes them afraid, right? They don't like the co-op board and the blah, blah, blah. Absolutely. So yes. Lyndon says ownership mindset. Do you mean the stock market? No, I mean ownership, like owning property, owning your job, owning your business, owning yourself, not just thinking, what job can I get? What job can I get? What's the monthly note? The story I bring up often, I used to sell cars. I know, funny. I used to sell cars. And I could tell the person's socioeconomic background often because of how they spoke about purchasing the car. Someone who was more economically savvy would ask questions like, what's the interest rate? What's the payment base? How much does a car cost? What if does the cost change if I'm leasing? Questions like that, they'd have a discussion. People who didn't would just go, what's the monthly note? That's it. And this is going to sound odd, but when I would try to show them the details this is over 20 years ago, I was still a show salesman, right? I'd be showing people the details, right? Let me show you how this works. They didn't want me to show them. They didn't want to know. They were like, stop, just how much does it cost per month? And I tell them and go, okay, I can afford it or I can't. That was it. They liked the car. Could they, get the monthly note? They would take it. That's a rental mindset. That's a more transitory mindset. An ownership mindset says, should I purchase the car or not? If so, what's my benefit? What's my downside? That's an ownership mindset. I want to understand owning it. So it could be the mindset is what I'm looking for. Could that mean stock? Yes. Could that mean just, being a partial owner in a small company? Yes. Could it mean just thinking that this is my career and I'm going to take it seriously? Not just, well, if I get fired, I'll find the job. And there are too many Americans who think that way. You want to own your career, own your life, when possible, own your business or own your company when possible. All those things. Absolutely. So I'm going to send you to make you another one. Thank you. I'll be eagerly waiting. Yes, absolutely. Yes. I love that. So, all right. So, guys, I appreciate all the time you gave me tonight. I hope it was interesting for you. Before you go, do me a favor, as always, heading over to the Police Accountability Survey. The Police Accountability Survey, it matters, is my sponsors. Click that link in the description. It's about 5 minutes. Take it and share it on social media. If you've got the cash, you like what I'm doing. If you like me talking to socialists and seeing if I can turn some of them and have them see that we're still human beings, sponsor then. Patreon.com/Sharpe Way. $10, $25, whatever it is. No worries. All good. And of course, like, comment, share. That is so critical. Please do that. And if you would do me a favor, why don't you follow me on YouTube? Subscribe. I could use some more YouTube followers. I could use a couple more. Give me 1,700. Be nice. I do so much better on Facebook. I want to do a little bit on YouTube in case I get canceled. So heading over to YouTube. Do that. Make it a whole lot better for me. Guys, thank you so much. I will see you guys tomorrow.